Hello and welcome to Sky247.net presents Not Just Cricket. What a game it was, and this is why we all love a T20. Lucknow have won, and I'm sure they're very, very happy, but I think we were all on the edge, weren't we? Niall is at the airport, but he's made himself available for us. He's told the plane, just wait. And we have Deep over here. And
Yeah. Vaishna's
we're
Niall's on
inviting
the
him.
edge, literally edge of the country.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, let me just wait.
I was sitting watching the end of the game with the pilot. So once I knew the pilot was watching the match, I knew I was okay.
There we go. I mean, lots of points that we're going to discuss, but opening thoughts, gentlemen. I'll start with you, Deep.
Opening thoughts. I guess this is kind of becoming a trend now. Yesterday it was Venkatesh Iyer bowling the 19th and costing quite a few runs. Today again it was Shivam Dube, and I can understand why, because obviously the spinners with the due factor and everything else, you don't want to go back to them. But if that's the case, it's important that you get the sixth bowling option or a sixth bowling or seamer, bowl at least an over during the middle overs, and not bring them on in the 19th. I'm not just talking about Shivam Dube in this game. Even yesterday, we saw it from Kolkata. They bowled Venkatesh Iyer the 19th, and Venkatesh went for a few. So yeah, I mean, that's the biggest talking point. The other one, obviously, if I may touch upon quickly, is Evan Lewis at 4. I don't know. Evan Lewis is an opener. Why is he batting at 4 and not 3?
Absolutely. I also want you both to know, because I wrote down my notes, 4th highest chase in the tournament history. Did you both know this? You probably did.
Of course.
Of course. Niall,
got a great producer.
I have a wonderful producer. You can't see him, but he's definitely here with me. Now, what are your thoughts, your opening thoughts on
yeah, cracking game. I was at the stadium for the first innings. It was a wonderful atmosphere, I must say. The Chennai fans were outnumbering the Lucknow mob by about 10-1. There was a great noise. I thought Chennai batted so well. I thought some of their players were rolling back the years. And, at the mid-innings break, I thought they got too many. I really did think Lucknow wouldn't chase that down. In saying that, when you've got Quinton de Kock and KL Rahul, who both missed out in the first game, those guys are too good. They're too good both to miss out again. So they got them off to a good start. And once again, the pitch was excellent. And I know what Deep is saying about, Shivam Dube bowling the penultimate over. You can't have the captain and you can't have Mali, 2 of your marquee players, 2 of your retained players, 2 of your highest paid players not bowling their overs. It's just a mistake. It's pure and simple. It's a mistake. Whether you've got to get Dube in, as Deep said, slide him in after 8-9 overs when maybe Quinton de Kock went a little bit quiet for an over 2. He went a little bit quiet just before getting out, and maybe slide him in for an over there. So maybe a little bit of inexperience showing for Ravi Jadeja. But I thought Lucknow played pretty well. There was, it was a day for batters. Let's be realistic, and that's what T20 cricket is pretty much all about. So the batters had a field day.
Let's take a look at the match summary. Niall, if you can just take us through this, please.
Yeah, well, obviously, Lucknow got what they wanted, winning the toss and bowling first. Robbie Uthappa, again, 50 off 27, rolling back the years. I thought he played nicely. And this was the first time I've seen Dube play like that, up close and personal. Tall, hit the ball well. I thought Lucknow bowled in his arc a little bit. Ravi Bishnoi was superb. Didn't turn the ball much, but he bowled a lot of googlies and bowled quite quick. And I actually thought Avesh Khan was excellent. He bowled, decent pace, good commitment for his 2 for 38. I know those figures don't make amazing reading 2 for 38, but they're pretty useful. AJ Ty picked up a couple of wickets at the back. I don't think AJ Ty bowled very well, actually. And then in the chase, it was, as I mentioned, Quinton and KL Rahul, superb. And, amazing, actually, Evan Lewis, as Deep quite rightly points out, has opened the batting pretty much all through his career. Strike rate over 150 in T20 cricket. And to come out and play the way he played today at that position, will take a lot of people by surprise, actually. And he played with a lot of maturity, we've seen Evan Lewis sometimes blow a little bit hot and cold with bat in hand, but that was a marvellous knock. 3 sixes and getting his team over the line. He got some good support at the back end, and he got some good support actually from the Chennai bowlers too.
How did the team management and the captain lift Dubai in this situation, Deep? Because you see the rise and the fall in the same game, all in 3-4 hours. So what do you think they will be saying to him right now?
Listen, it's not Dubai's fault, to be honest, because obviously it's not the easiest conditions to bowl, and especially when you're bowling your first over. The penalty minute over. It's never going to be easy. That's where I think more teams would start thinking of bowling someone like Dubey at least an over during the middle overs and get him into the game, right? Again, like I said, it's not just about Shivam Dubey in this game. Same happened yesterday, right? So if you have that sixth bowling option, just get in. Generally speaking, when MSD used to captain the sides, he would always get the sixth bowler at least one over. So what happens is you got an extra over of one of the main bowlers at the end. So what happened when the 18th over finished? You didn't have an over from your main bowlers. You had finished with Pretorius. You had finished with Deshpande. So at least if there was one over from someone, or for example, in this case, Shivam Dubey in those middle overs, then you might have got another over of one of the main guys left. So if you have that six bowling option, bowl him in the middle overs. You have a little more elbow room to decide at the business end of the innings. You have more options there. I think as far as Shivam Dubey is concerned, superb knock with the bat. This is a great franchise for youngsters like Shivam Dubey to kind of realize their potential, because Chennai has always been a very, very good training ground for youngsters, potentially very, very talented, someone like Shivam Dubey, because he's going to get quite a few games right through the tournament, and will get a lot of confidence from that team management, whether it's Flem, whether it's MSD and Jadeja, because they believe in continuation. They don't believe in chopping and changing. So it's a great franchisee for youngsters like Shivam Dubey, and I'm so glad that he's taken his opportunity today.
Absolutely. Let's talk about De Kock and how he laid the platform and he, set it all up with KL. Will we talk about that, Niall? Let's talk about De Kock.
Yeah, well, listen, he's a world-class performer. We've seen it with Mumbai for the best part of 4 or 5 years, and obviously previous franchises as well. As I said, missed out, got a great ball in their first game. Mohammad Shami cleaned him up with a beauty. So, I just think as well as he played, it just slowed up a little bit. I just think when he needed to kick on, maybe he just stalled a little bit. Strike rate 135. It's good when you're chasing over 200. You can't really afford any kind of slip. But I thought he played nicely. He set it up nicely with KL. And most teams, when we spoke about Evan Lewis not opening, that would be a bit of a conundrum, really. When you pick Evan Lewis in the auction, you think, he must open. But actually, now they've seen Evan Lewis be able to bat outside the opening position. With Quinton, you know what you're going to get. You're going to get a bloke who's good behind the stumps. He's not going to chat too much. He's not going to offer a great deal in terms of probably, working with the bowlers. He goes out, keeps wicket. He stands on middle stump and leg stump and just hits the ball through the line and plays nicely, and then he goes back to his hotel. So you know what you're going to get when you sign Quinton de Kock, and today he delivered for Andy Flower.
But Niall, would you agree that this is one of those innings where it's all good because they've won the game at the end? But if they hadn't, you could actually look at that innings and say, 135 on this pitch when you need 10 runs and over, maybe wasn't good enough. It's fine if that's for 20 runs you get rid of 17 balls, that's fine. But when you've played as many deliveries as he has, and somebody with that kind of potential, he's a proper match winner, right? You would expect him to go a little quicker than 135, because end of the day, they won the game, so it's all good. But if they hadn't, you would have looked at that innings and said, maybe Quinton, you could have gone a little quicker than that or faster than that.
Yeah, probably, and it's one of those things, we've been in dressing rooms and you'll never know the answer, will you? But I think the main thing is missed out first game, got to score second game. I think Lucknow, as happy as they'll be in that dressing room, and they'll be thrilled to bits with that win, I still think they were way off playing their best game, way off, and that to me actually is a bit of a worry for the opposition.
Well,
Because they've been beaten when they've got a huge score by a team that actually I don't think have played very well there. You know, as strange as that sounds, you look now in the field, their fielding was disastrous. You know, drop catches, missed fields, sliding over balls on the road. They gifted Chennai 20 or 30.
Terrible day for Dushmanta Chamira. I mean, as good as he is as a bowler as well, he went for a few, at least gave 2 boundaries away, dropped a catch. So one of those days that he would want to forget, as good as he is, though.
guys, we have to continue and listen to what everyone else has also been saying on our lovely social tracker, please, because they've also been saying quite a few things. So let's take a look. Over here is on DJ Bravo. Dwayne Bravo, who was an injury replacement of Lasith Malinga in Mumbai Indians squad in 2008, today 14 years later surpasses Malinga's record to become the highest wicket taker in the history of IPL. Kudos to that.
Wow, what a story, isn't it? That is a great story.
And the second tweet, which I'm going to see, is top stuff. The youngster managed to bowl a brilliant spell tonight on a pitch that was favourable to the batters. And that is from the Bharat Army. Let's have a word on him.
Well, for me, I think Bishnoi is as good as any bowler out there. I'm talking about T20 cricket, world cricket I'm talking about here. Because obviously he's extremely consistent, very tight with his lines and lengths. And he's very much like Rashid, right? He's not really a leg spinner. He's more of a googly or a top spin bowler because of his action. But he's so accurate, even though you know he's not going to turn it away from you as a right-hander, but he's still so good. He's almost like Rashid Khan. He's flat, he's quick, he bowls wicket to wicket, doesn't give you too much room, and he's a smart customer. His cricket IQ is really up there.
Does he need to develop, I'm trying to think, the leg break in order to become better?
Well, listen, I stood behind him. I stood behind him this evening. Now I shouldn't have done because that area of the stadium is blocked off for the side feed. But I was kind of peeking.
The game was stopped, and I think it was because of you there.
It was me, but I wanted to see because his run up is so straight. He literally has a straight run up. When you think of leg spinners, the great leg spinners, obviously great numbers. But when you think of the great leg spinners, they've got a bit of an arc. But Ravi Bishnoi just runs straight in. It's going to be very difficult with that run up and action to actually get a big leg break. But if it's on white ball cricket, T20 cricket, you don't necessarily need a massive leg break. You need to attack the stumps. One area where I think the batters let themselves, left-handed batters playing inside the line, missing inside the line, they're playing for spin when there's none. You gotta play them almost like a little medium pacer, like a little seamer, like a good old-fashioned England, seamer back in the 80s and 90s, just a little nibbling it. So he got, I reckon, 6-7 balls past the left-handers outside edge today. Could easily have 2 or 3 wickets, but it was, as a left-handed batter myself, you got to think, play for the ball going across. But I like him. I think he's a good cricketer. He gives them something in the field as well because, as I've mentioned, their fielding unit isn't the best, and he's a live wire in the field. So delighted for him, bowled nicely, and I said he could have had 4 wickets tonight.
Can I quickly add, Karishma, you mentioned about the leg break. As Niall mentioned about that run-up, also his action, right? Because he goes past perpendicular, it's very difficult to bowl a leg spinner because when you go past perpendicular, your hands like that. It's for you to bowl the leg spin, you have to kind of bowl like that. And you can't bowl it with that kind of an action. And especially when he's bowling to left-handers because his angle gets a lot more acute that way because he's trying to push it through, right? So every time he wants to bowl a leg break, he might be able to bowl a few leg breaks against the right-handers when he has to bowl outside off stump, like the 6th stump, because the angle is a lot straighter for him to bowl that leg break. But if he has to develop that, which he might be looking into, he might have to change the angle of release to a certain extent.
Thank you so much. That was our social tracker. So, gentlemen, before I let you go, especially Niall, because Niall has a flight to catch. Tomorrow we have Kolkata versus Punjab. A few words, gentlemen, before I let you go. Another exciting game because T20 is all about that. But yeah, let's talk about that quickly and briefly. Niall.
Well, listen, I like what Punjab did in the auction. I thought they were pretty smart, and they should have a couple of players available tomorrow. Potentially, Bairstow might be out of quarantine. I'm hearing, but he may have one more day. But they could have Kagiso available. So I like Punjab. I like what they've done in the auction. They've totally rebranded the whole team. You know, it's a new look Punjab. They haven't done what they've done for 10 seasons and just paid over the odds for players who played well for 2 months before the auction. They've actually signed proven performers, and I think they've got a nice lineup. So I like Punjab. Kolkata played nicely so far. They played some decent cricket, steady cricket, I'd say. Punjab, very exciting for me. They could be a team to watch, so I'm looking forward to them tomorrow.
Deep, before I let you go.
Well, I second Niall on that. I think Punjab has one of the best squads in this year's comp. But again, I'd also have to add that this is going to be, as far as the squads are concerned, almost all of them have got a good squad. It's very difficult to differentiate between them, especially when you talk about Kolkata. They're playing 11. They might not have that kind of depth in their squad, but the playing 11 is as good as anyone else. So that's going to be important. And also with Eras, he had a little bit of an injury, bowling arm last game. So it'll be interesting to see whether he's completely or fully fit for the game tomorrow or not. But it's going to be another cracker of a game for sure. Two really, really good sides.
That's what we like to hear. So thank you so much, gentlemen. Thank you for joining me. Guys, you know what to do. Join us tomorrow at 6:45 on Sky 247 presents Not Just Cricket, and we will be talking all things cricket and more tomorrow. Thank you so much, and thank you, gentlemen.
Good night. Thank you.
Bye. Have a safe flight.